Sophie commits a hard foul on Jacy Sheldon. Again, as Jacy Sheldon is going up for a layup, Sophie bear hugs her and takes her to the ground. What I will say is Sophie did not grab her and throw her to the ground. She didn't body slam her. She didn't do anything, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm biased here, but I'm gonna give you guys my straight up honest opinion on this. She bear hugged her, took her to the ground. Yes, it was intentional.
See, she's the problem. She is the problem.
Sophie takes the card, grabs the pen, and writes across the front, "Property of Sophie Cunningham." That's not a scribble. That's a declaration. That's, "You want to press our star? Cool. Here's the bill." It's also a memo to the rest of the league.
Sophie Cunningham just flipped the WNBA into her own "say it with your chest" showcase. And the punchline landed straight on Jacy Sheldon, the same JC who got a little too bold getting handsy with Caitlin Clark.
Has been Caitlin Clark's biggest cheerleader and defender.
And it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What? When people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as.
The sad truth about this video we just watched is she is the first WNBA player I have seen to openly say this out loud, publicly, and not be ashamed.
This wasn't some backroom whisper or slick subtweet. Sophie broadcast it live and unfiltered. She laid it down on the floor, doubled it up for the fans, and then stamped it in ink, like she was signing her own declaration of war. So let's keep it real. How much do you love Sophie right now? Drop it in the comments, because Fever Nation sees exactly what Clark deserves. A ride or die enforcer at her side. Here's the raw truth. Other teams pretend ain't real. When your teammate is Caitlin Clark, you're rolling with a walking sellout, a ratings magnet, and the #1 target for every cheap shot artist in the league. You either protect her, or you stand around like window dressing while rivals line up to test her body.
Cunningham would take her rightful place as the Indiana Fever enforcer, and I believe took the first step to her becoming the second most popular player in the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham is everywhere. Arby's, walking in. She's best looking woman walking into these WNBA arenas. I mean, black belt Barbie, anybody? Black belt Barbie.
Sophie Cunningham, she chose the first option and slammed the door right on their fingers. And don't forget where this heat started. That circus of a game. The one where Marina Mabrey turned into a wannabe NFL safety and truck-sticked Clark after the whistle. But rewind it a little. Before Mabrey tried out for the Cowboys, it was Jacy Sheldon out here testing limits with those accidental bumps that had Fever fans screaming for a league-wide penalty box. Too bad the WNBA don't even got one. Sheldon, already stacking up a sketchy rep for contact that always just so happens to land on Clark, threw in another unnecessary bump. And Sophie?
Like gasoline. Lexi Hull, sitting next to Sophie at the table, dissolves into laughter while the fans lose it. It's one of those rare, perfect moments that blends rivalry, humor, and unfiltered competitiveness. The stuff that actually builds a team's culture and a fan base's identity.
She didn't file a complaint. She filed it under her to-do list and handled business herself. Later in the game, Cunningham delivered a reminder so sharp, you could feel it echo in your bones. It wasn't dirty. It wasn't wild. It was the basketball version of, "We saw that, try it again, and pay the price." A clean, firm shot that stamped the warning. Touching Caitlin Clark comes with heavy interest. And Sophie didn't let it end when the clock hit 0. She carried that energy everywhere she went.
Clark is the reason we have been talking about the WNBA. Hate it or love it, it's true. I don't believe that Caitlin Clark necessarily wants that title that everyone has been giving to her. I think she just wants to be appreciated. And Sophie Cunningham, she just seems like such a real one, such a good friend. I think especially with women, especially elite level athletes, there's a lot of people, women, who will kind of stab you in the back. There's a lot of jealousy, a lot of resentment, especially when you're good. But Sophie just seems like such a girl's girl. I really, really like her. Maybe Caitlin Clark should do the next American Eagle campaign. Or
fast forward to a Fever fan event. Sophie's in full-on community mode, signing programs, cheesing for photos, chopping it up with the diehards who line up hours early just to get a moment with her. Then a fan slides over a Jacy Sheldon rookie card, not looking for a normal autograph. No jersey number, no quick initials. They want a statement, something loud enough to match the vibe inside Gainbridge that night. Sophie grabs the pen, stares at the card, and scrawls across the front. Property of Sophie Cunningham.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think this means anything? Like, obviously, when you get a Sophie Cunningham signed a Jacy Sheldon card, like, I think we should see that more in sport.
That's not a signature. That's a declaration stamped in permanent ink. That's her saying, "You messed with our star? Cool, here's the receipt." And it doubles as a league-wide memo. Indiana's got an enforcer now, and she came with the paperwork ready. Sheldon, officially put on notice. Black belt Barbie in the flesh.
It's hilarious. It really is. Indiana Fever star takes humorous jab at Caitlin Clark villain. You got to love an Iowa Hawkeyes Wire headline. That's really good. That's Jacy Sheldon. Congratulations. That's all you're known as. The chick that was mean to Caitlin Clark. That's your legacy. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, you've been traded, and I don't think you're much of a basketball.
The clip exploded on social media like someone dropped gasoline on a fire. Lexi Hull, sitting next to Sophie, nearly fell out of her chair, laughing while fans lost their minds in the comments. It was one of those rare, perfect moments that fuses rivalry, comedy, and raw competitiveness. The kind of thing that doesn't just hype a game. It builds a culture, it builds a fan base, and it cements a team's identity forever. This wasn't staged, this wasn't branded, it was pure Sophie. Sharp, savage, and crystal clear about who she was writing for. And the best part? She never walked it back. No soft, "oh gosh, I was just joking." No PR-crafted apology. No fake notes app post.
Was selected number 5 overall in the 2024 WNBA draft by the Dallas Wings. Following 5 seasons at Ohio State, has quickly established herself a very negative opinion for both Hawkeye and Fever fans after her June 17th flagrant one on Clark and her eventually uncalled for knee to the right groin area during the July 15 clash in Boston as a member of the Connecticut Sun. By the way, can you stay with the team? You got selected by Dallas. You're already on your 3rd squad in 18 months. God.
Sophie doubled down, and that's exactly what you want from an enforcer. Consistency. Because let's be real, every legendary squad has one. Gretzky had one. Jordan had a whole crew. Kobe had soldiers willing to rack up technicals just to keep him clean. Curry's got Draymond. And right now, the WNBA's biggest draw has Sophie Cunningham. Protector by choice, sniper by trade, and apparently part-time notary for every rival guard who forgets the rules. But here's the part that flips this from a tough girl act into something dangerous. Sophie ain't just some end-of-the-bench bruiser there to burn fouls. She's producing like crazy. Since the break, she's been torching nets, walking into threes like she owns the whole arc, and stacking up 15, 18, 20-point nights while defenders are still trying to wake up.
Just think, and you know way better than me,
Yeah.
but like, it just feels like people are jealous of this new little wave of.
They are, but I
rookies.
just hate that because, like, this is what we've always wanted as a league. So, like, who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
Like, you are literally making money from the viewership.
And why bully the person who is like not 100% responsible, but like has a huge role in growing your sport?
Dude, and it literally, like, pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
When the Fever desperately needed buckets against Phoenix, it wasn't luck. Sophie dropped 18 clean while some of her teammates looked like they forgot what city they even landed in. That's the real secret sauce. Enforcer energy is cool, but enforcer energy with efficiency? That's how you actually win games and make people remember your name. So when Sophie wrote "Property of Sophie Cunningham" across that card, it didn't hit as petty. It hit as perfectly measured. Fever fans exploded because it wasn't just about one bump, one shove, one foul. It was a whole season of cheap shots finally getting stamped with a public return address. That was a teammate saying loud and clear, Our star's not running solo anymore, and she said it with ink, not emojis. The dominoes fell like clockwork. That autograph turned into a meme overnight. Fever fans claimed it instantly, while Clark's army, basically a full-on militia at this point, saved it to their camera rolls like it was gospel. Even neutral fans, the ones sick of watching Clark get hacked every other night, nodded, smirked, and hit share. And that's when the bigger picture clicked into place.
It was, to me, payback for what was happening the entire game. But she did it in a way that she wasn't gonna injure Jacy. She was just making it known, like, if the refs aren't gonna handle it, I will handle it. We'll take care of it, but this is not what you're going to do when you come into our house. It was an intentional foul. It was a hard foul. She brought her down. But with that, you guys, Jacy Sheldon got up and she was ready to go. So as you guys can see in this video, a whole scuffle breaks out. Sophie and Jacy are going after it. Both teams are running over, trying to break it up. It kind of goes into the fan section a little.
Jacy Sheldon's young WNBA journey was already bumpy. Drafted by Dallas, rerouted to Connecticut, shipped to Washington. Turbulence everywhere. But now, her loudest headline wasn't a breakout scoring clinic or a defensive showcase. It was this: the guard who tested Caitlin Clark and the guard who got claimed by Sophie Cunningham. You could feel the cheer ripple through Fever Nation when that clip hit timelines. Because it wasn't just about the laugh, it was about what the laugh meant. Team identity, teammate accountability, drawing a bold line in the sand. You don't build your name by targeting our star. That's not just good basketball, that's good business. It gives the locker room a rallying cry, gives fans a story to tell, and gives opponents one big reason to think twice before chasing cheap TikTok fame at Caitlin's expense.
She's got all the aura right now, all of it. Got the podcast, and a damn good one. I mean, when's the next podcast drop? News is getting slow. There's got to be at least 3 or 4 good things in every Sophie Cunningham.
And this is exactly why Sophie has locked in, without debate, as the second most beloved Fever player behind Caitlin herself. She's got edge without the ego, swagger without the circus, and on top of that, she's producing. Cashing deep threes, taking charges, flashing that grin, and then flipping a rival's rookie card into a mic drop moment. That's not just a highlight, that's a brand, that's a role. That's a teammate you don't replace. Let's be real. Sophie versus Jacy shouldn't even be a storyline if the league did its job. Every other pro league protects its megastars, but the WNBA left Caitlin Clark wide open to take shot after shot. And that's why Sophie's autograph went viral, because it wasn't just ink, it was justice stamped on cardboard. From Kennedy Carter's blindside, to Shields' hip check, to Mabry's after whistle shove, to Sheldon's accidental hands, the pattern was screaming louder than any press conference.
In the first half, the refs didn't call. Someone should have been thrown out, and the refs did not call it.
Correct. I remember that.
They didn't. And so I was like, all right.
She got full body
Dude,
chested.
by 3 people.
Late, yeah.
Like 2 people, they're like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, if that was anyone else, I would have been booted out of the game. I know that for sure. I'm a little sassy, but like, so are they.
Your leash is shorter though, because they know.
Literally. I don't even have a leash. I just have a freaking collar and a hand on it. Anyway, so there was like 45 seconds left. The girl stole the ball and I was running back and I was like, we're up. I don't need to foul. And I was like, just let her go. And I was like, all right, like, who cares? Last second, intrusive thoughts. I was like,
The refs kept swallowing whistles. Fines landed on the wrong players. And opposing guards figured out there was clout to be gained by poking the bear. And here's what made the Sheldon mess sting even more for Fever fans. This wasn't some proven vet with credentials. This was a role player with a WNBA resume, barely fresh off the printer. Yet somehow, she's already more known for cheap fouls than actual buckets. Drafted 5th overall by Dallas in 2024, Sheldon didn't even last a full season before she was shipped off. And now her biggest headlines aren't about defense or scoring. They're about trying to rough up Caitlin Clark. That's not the career path you follow if you want respect in this league. And Sophie Cunningham? She read that whole situation like a book and decided Sheldon's tough girl act needed a reality check. Immediately. Because on the floor, Sophie is that rare kind of player who changes everything with her presence alone.
Biggest stars the WNBA's ever
who's that?
had. Her name rhymes with Schmaitlin.
Heartland?
Yeah. What has that been like? Seeing her not only kind of transform a league, but also just be like,
No,
is that fair to say?
not even just the league, but like
The
women's
sport?
basketball as a whole around the
Yeah.
world. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's so funny because she's like 22, 23 years old and the whole world.
It's not just the buckets, though she'll drop those too. It's the aura. When Clark takes a hard foul, every fan in the arena turns their eyes straight to Sophie because they know something's coming back the other way. She's the built-in insurance policy the league refused to give its biggest star. Sophie's not built to let anything slide, and that's why the autograph moment detonated online like it did. It wasn't just funny, it was a warning shot. When she scrawled property of Sophie Cunningham across that rookie card, she was planting a flag. This matchup belongs to me. You're not bulldozing my teammate without catching smoke from me first. And here's the kicker. Sophie isn't just talk. Since the All-Star break, she's been in her bag, putting up some of the best numbers of her career. She's drilling threes, stacking double-digit nights, and stepping up big when the pressure is heaviest. That's why her enforcer role hits different. It's not noise for clout, it's weight backed by buckets.
God, I wish we had more teammates, or I wish more teammates of Caitlin Clark would get this fired up when their transcendent superstar, who's now hurt and has missed half the games this year, has been the target, that some of the other players would get a little bit aggressive on behalf of Caitlin Clark. Get in between something. You never, this is in the NBA. Every team in hockey, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, I mean, these transcendent stars, it's always the goon, the enforcer. In this case, Sophie Cunningham, I mean, normally these guys, they're not really putting up numbers. The difference here is Sophie Cunningham is a real basketball player, and
She's not an end-of-bench agitator trying to make headlines. She's a starter-level presence, producing, setting tone, and checking teammates through her actions as much as her words. She's a throwback to the classic enforcers, the ones who made sure stars never stood alone. And right now, Caitlin Clark's got Sophie Cunningham standing guard at her back. That's crucial, because Clark's arrival flipped the league upside down. She brought more attention, ticket sales, and TV ratings than the WNBA's seen in decades. But the other side of that spotlight? She's been targeted physically at a level no second-year player should have to survive. If Indiana didn't have someone ready to clap back, the message to the league would have been loud and ugly. Clark's open season. Sophie makes damn sure that message never takes root, and she does it while firing up the fans every single night. That rare mix of on-court production and off-court personality, that's the cheat code for becoming a fan favorite. And Sophie's cracked it wide open. And the fans? They went wild. Exactly how you'd expect. Social media lit up like fireworks with clips of that autograph exchange. Memes crowned Sophie Black Belt Barbie, a nod to her martial arts background. And fans even started begging for merch stamped with property of Sophie Cunningham across the front. Meanwhile, Jacy Sheldon's public image is spiraling in the opposite direction. Ask a casual WNBA fan about her right now, and odds are they'll mention the groin knee, the foul on Clark, and now the humiliation of being publicly roasted by Sophie at her own signing table?
And it was 2-on-1. Yeah, I got tossed.
Did she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we're good. But so in a situation like that, does Caitlin come up to you after and say like, because the internet whole thing was, look at fucking Sophie sticking up for Caitlin, like this is dope.
But I was.
No, I know you were.
But in the locker room, I think she was like, finally, you know, like finally someone else. I was like, dude, I got you. Like it's, but I think that kind of had our team come together as a whole. And it's like, no, we gotta have like it was
That's
a,
awesome.
yeah, no, it really was though. Like I feel like everyone was like, you know, like
Those kinds of moments stick, especially in a league where storylines matter just as much as stat lines. And right now, the loudest storyline is this. Sophie Cunningham isn't afraid to check anyone who lays a hand on her teammates. And that's bigger than just protecting Clark. It's reshaping the Fever's entire identity. The new unspoken rule in Indiana is crystal clear. If you're rocking this jersey, you protect the stars. You don't just watch them take hits. You step up and make opponents second guess even trying it. That's why Clark's game is humming. She thrives when her teammates create space, absorb the cheap contact, and force defenders to think twice before throwing those shady bumps. Sophie embodies that perfectly, and her unapologetic edge is winning over neutrals too. Fans who might not ride for the Fever but can't help but respect a player who stands tall for her squad. In a league still grinding for mainstream traction, personalities like Sophie aren't just valuable.
Sophie Cunningham owned Jacy Sheldon from the same game that Marina Mabrey did the massive body slam into Caitlin Clark on. She still owns Jacy. She still owns Jacy Sheldon. And what's great is she's got a great sense of humor about it, and she's not shy about it. I mean, what are they going to do?
They're gold. And here's what makes it historic. This wasn't just trash talk in the heat of battle. Publicly signing her rival's rookie card with a mic drop jab? That's next level. Sophie didn't just defend Clark. She built a brand, right there at a folding table, as the one player in the league you do not mess with. What makes this whole saga even wilder is how fast Sophie's moment got elevated into something bigger than just one autograph or one rivalry. Sports outlets started clipping it side by side with old-school NHL enforcers, with NBA bruises from the Jordan and Kobe days, even with Draymond Green's role in Golden State's dynasty. People are calling it the rebirth of the enforcer era, except now it's got a three-point shot attached. That's the part that's flipping heads around the league. Sophie isn't just throwing her weight around, she's producing. She's cashing threes, putting up double-digit nights, and then turning around to enforce a code the refs won't protect.
Kind of crazy. This one is kind of crazy. When you get Sophie Cunningham to sign a Jacy Sheldon rookie card with property of, that is crazy. That is crazy. Property of...
That blend of skill and bite, it's rare, and it's why her name is suddenly getting mentioned in conversations about culture changers, not just role players. For Indiana, it's priceless. Clark may be the headline attraction, but Sophie's the one making sure opponents know it costs extra if you cross the line. And for the league, it's a blueprint. Every superstar needs protection, and every fan base rallies around the teammate willing to do the dirty work with style. Sophie just modernized that job description and stamped her own brand on it. Black Belt Barbie. What's wild is, this wasn't planned, it wasn't marketed, it was organic. And that's exactly why it hit so hard. Fans are starving for authenticity, and Sophie gave them a dose that the league's corporate campaigns could never buy. Now she's more than Clark's bodyguard, more than Indiana's spark. She's a symbol that the WNBA has players bold enough to draw their own lines and back them up.
We go, they're trailing by 10. Keep an eye on her and Jacy Sheldon. Clark trying to back her down.
Clark is okay.
Sheldon, that was Clark, hitting her in the face. Clark is upset about that. Then everybody's upset about that. Marina Mabrey comes in. She decks Clark, tempers flaring on both sides.
The fallout came quick. Rival fan bases rushed to Twitter fingers, calling Sophie extra, petty, even unprofessional. But here's the thing. The hate only amplified her spotlight. Every quote tweet, every salty comment, every rival podcaster trying to drag her name just added more fuel to the fire. And Fever Nation? They loved every second of it. Even analysts couldn't stay neutral. Some praised her as the exact teammate Clark needed, a culture setter the Fever couldn't buy in free agency. Others wrung their hands, saying the WNBA doesn't need goons, as if Sophie wasn't also drilling threes and putting up legit numbers while enforcing. That debate only made the moment bigger, because it wasn't just about one autograph anymore. It was about the role she'd created. And you could feel the shift on the floor too. Guards who used to bump Clark with no hesitation, suddenly they were peeking over their shoulder, checking where Sophie was standing before throwing any extra contact.
Oh, it's her second year. And like now being on her team and like seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? Like actually it's just too much. And like, it's just, I'm over it. And if I'm saying it's...
That's impact you can't measure on a box score. It's psychological warfare. And Sophie had it locked. For the Fever locker room, it was a rallying cry. Clark brought the spotlight, Boston brought the foundation, and now Sophie brought the edge. Together, that's a dangerous mix. It told the league, loud and clear, this isn't just Caitlin's team. It's a unit, and if you swing at one, you're swinging at all. That's why Sophie's not just trending. She's rewriting the conversation. She's proof that in the modern WNBA, being an enforcer doesn't mean being a liability. It means being the spark, the shield, and the scorer, all in one package. That's why the Black Belt Barbie nickname hits so hard. It's not just about Sophie's martial arts background. It's about that rare balance of talent, toughness, and swagger. Sophie's not in this league to be everybody's favorite. She's here to win.
Did you see that when DB came back and played for us, that they got mad that our fan base was booing her?
I don't believe in booing former players unless they left on like some fun type shit.
And to make damn sure her teammates can hoop without getting hacked every other possession. And let's be real, this isn't going away anytime soon. When the Fever match up with the Sun again, the storyline will be front and center. Fans will be watching every Sheldon possession, waiting to see if she dares make a statement. And if Sophie claps back, those cameras will catch everything. Clark's protection will be part of the conversation from tip-off to final buzzer, because that's the power of an enforcer. It forces opponents to recalculate before they even make contact. It's one thing to throw a cheap shot when you think there's no price tag. It's another when you know Sophie Cunningham is waiting right there to make you pay interest. And at the end of the day, Sophie didn't just put Jacy Sheldon in check. She sent a message to the entire league. And honestly, it's the kind of message Indiana probably should have sent months ago.
DB. Because like DB was one of my bets when I was in Phoenix. And then we gathered here into Indiana. And like it was kind of a surprise that she was signed to Indiana anyway. And so we'll take her in a heartbeat. Like she's a Hall of Famer. She's a hell of a basketball player, can score from anywhere on the court.
So now we gotta ask, was Sophie's property of Sophie Cunningham moment the ultimate clapback? Or did she just pour gasoline on a fire that's only getting hotter? Either way, Fever Nation's riding with her. How much do you love Sophie? Drop it in the comments, smash that like, hit subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.